Now the fear is no longer vague. The terror isn't formless. It has a form. He was beckoning me. That thin gray man in the cheap, shabby suit, he was beckoning me. He wanted me to start across. He wanted me to die. I know that now.
Hey, I'm Derek.
And I'm Noah, and you're listening to A Bite of,
where we take our current favorite pop culture obsession and enjoy it one nibble at a time.
and we're currently nibbling, munching, biting on the Twilight Zone, and this is our penultimate episode.
Is
right?
it?
Yeah. We only have one more after this. Yeah, I know.
Ay, Dios mío, this went so fast.
There's tons of episodes, and we could do this forever. There's podcasts that only cover the Twilight Zone, but we just decided to do, a nice little 6.
As we say, it's a nibble.
Yeah.
A nibble. 6 to 8 is a nibble.
Just like everybody else, we love so many things. So many things are coming out. Our tastes change. The things that we're obsessed with constantly change. We got to keep it fresh.
We are multi-dimensional, like the Twilight Zone.
There's only 5 dimensions.
Okay. Not of sight and sound, but of mind.
Though.
But
Yeah.
listen, we're all human. We like what we like, and it doesn't have to be just one thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, can I take a step back?
Okay.
I think we nailed our intro for the first time in like maybe
my God.
15 episodes.
If there's one staple that's for this podcast and that's very consistent, is that our intros most likely are not consistent, but we got it.
You know what it is? I think that in my inner being, I just want all of the lines of the intro.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always ready to jump in for your part. It reminds me of that episode of Friends where Rachel and Phoebe are living together and they are recording their outgoing message for their mailbox. And Rachel keeps tricking her and taking all the good words. And then at the end, Phoebe just kind of takes the entire thing. And she's like, "You've met your match, Rachel Green.
Yeah.
I'm the Phoebe in this
Oh, yeah.
situation."
Absolutely. I can see you every single time. You're like, is he going to fuck it up and by making me fuck up?
I almost said it this time too. I was like, "Ha ha ha ha," and then you
Yeah.
said it, and I was like, "We're doing it."
Anyway,
Oh
our intro's fine.
no, the intro
We
is
got it.
great. Whoever wrote it,
Before we get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast episode,
here's the vegetable. You gotta take it. You gotta deal
I
with
love
it.
vegetables, though. We're all adults here. We love vegetables. Make sure you're following us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at A Bite of Pod. We also have a Patreon. If you like the show, if you want to support the show in any way, get fun little tidbits, also bonus episodes, discounts on merch. Follow us on Patreon or subscribe to Patreon.
Become a
Patreon.
patrician.
Stop.
People like patrician.
Like two people.
Two's more than none.
But I did also want to shout out a specific Patreon member that
Yes.
has been more than generous and super sweet. Shyman, you're amazing. He sent me this shirt of a bunch of superheroes and their booties are out. I love it. I'm going to wear it. I don't care what anybody says. Who doesn't like super booties?
If there's anyone that can pull that shirt off, it's you, Noah Zechariah.
Because I don't care.
You don't care.
Yeah, whatever. And also, you were super generous with the other gift, the wedding gift, and the congratulations gift. It's amazing.
Yeah, you did not have to do any of that, and
No.
we so appreciate it. And it just makes us feel so special, and we're so grateful for that. So thank you so much, Simon.
Yeah, you're great. We love you guys. We love all of the people that listen to us.
The fact that there are people that listen to us so boggles my mind. I don't understand it.
I don't know why I took a deep breath because I was just like,
You're processing that.
I feel it is interesting. It's just like to get on a little soapbox, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. It is interesting. It's great, and it's very humbling to see that people tune in every week or really like to see what we're doing and just like us as people.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, that's what technology is for nowadays. And you get to kind of spread your joys and your hobbies and the things you love to do with everybody else. And the fact that people want to listen to you, not even just look at you, just listen to you,
Yeah.
is great.
And you know what it is? It's funny. We're just two dudes in an apartment surrounded by blankets at the moment. And the fact that this is going into people's ears in some format, whether it's in their car or in their
your commutes
headphones
to work
or something. Yeah, it's really actually, sometimes I don't like to think about it because it spooks me. The fact that the things that I'm saying that someone's listening to, and I'm just some dude, it's interesting. But I do have to say that when we first started, my mom said, "Oh my God, I love it so much. It's great, but it'd be better if we could see you." It's like, okay, well, okay.
That's just like a generational, like, just not understanding what's happening, you know? And I mean, we do have stuff where you can see us. We have Instagram accounts. We have an Instagram account as a couple. And, you know, I mean, you can't see us. It's not like people don't know what we look like. But, you know, we did the YouTube thing. We might do it later. It's a lot of work, guys. But
yeah, especially for Noah, who just does all the editing. And I'm like, make an emoji pop up.
Yeah. All right, so that's enough.
Let's actually start this episode. Noah, what is our theme and phobia?
Okay, so this week it's Forgotten Fates, because we love alliteration, and also it just makes sense with these two pairings, and we decided to challenge ourselves and find 2 episodes with the protagonists that forgot their fates. And with this one, okay, so since both of our episodes are so different, the theme is kind of the same. But the
circumstances,
so different. I could not find a phobia that encompassed both of them. So I just went with one of them because our last episode we're doing is too close to the episode that I'm covering with what the phobia would be.
Yeah.
So I just did one with yours.
Oh, great.
Yes. So the fear of driving. Hold on. Buckle up.
Yeah.
Sit tight.
Hit it.
Because it's just, I mean, I kind of copped out. I tried, guys. I tried.
Listen, there is no such thing as a cop out. We are just bringing information to people, and what that information is up to us.
So the fear of driving sometimes, and this is from Very Well Mind, where I've been getting all of my phobias from. I like how they say sometimes referred to, which I don't know why it's all the times
this
not
is my favorite
referred
part.
to.
What is it?
Amaxophobia.
Amaxophobia.
I would think like
fear of
automophobia.
Maximus.
I guess. Well, I mean, not great. Just saying. It's the fear of driving. It's incredibly common. But this, again, is kind of one of those things where people generally have an anxiety with the thing, i.e. driving. And there's very few that are clinically diagnosed with the actual phobia. So the people that are typically clinically diagnosed with it are the ones that literally are terrified to drive in any situation.
Gotcha.
There are some people that are scared to drive on the freeway. There are some people that are just scared to be a passenger and not actually in control. And so pretty much with this phobia, it's an umbrella of a phobia because it takes into account a couple different phobias that couple into it. This is almost like our Frightful Flights one. Where this phobia, if you kind of exhibit behaviors of all these other phobias, you probably have amaxophobia.
The fear of gasoline. The fear of circular
agoraphobia is one of them.
Right. Okay.
That's coupled within
that.
This.
I know that.
Right. So it's the fear of being trapped. It's the fear of all of that stuff. Claustrophobia is another one. Vehicles are typically smaller, especially if you drive like a Maxima, like you said earlier. Performance anxiety is an actual fear, and it's a phobia. And especially if you have passengers in the car and you don't know how to drive well, if you don't know where you're going.
I get that.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And then one of the other ones is fear of accidents, which I think everybody has. And then the fear of actual travel. So people that just, you're traveling outside of your comfort zone, literally traveling out of state.
To another dimension.
Right. Takes a long time. There's a lot of fears that go into this. But, I mean, one that I thought was interesting that coupled within this phobia is the fear of authority. The fear of getting stopped by... Pulled over, or even stoplights telling you what to do.
How dare you? Slow down?
I mean, don't hit these people.
I will go when I want to go, sir.
So, like, it's even like fire trucks and ambulances. Like, to be fair, there are a lot of rules on the road.
It's part of the whole deal. It's like to not kill people.
Am I supposed to move over or am I supposed to slow down? What state am I in and what are their ordinances and laws?
Yeah, okay, that I get. But like basic things of like signaling and checking your blind spot, it's like
signaling? People do that?
We're doing, we're doing it to like not hurt others. If we could maybe all follow those rules, we'd all be better off.
Right. And this phobia will come very apparent whenever we get to Derek's episode, but
which is right now. No, not yet.
I know it's. There are some phobias that are the fear of being forgotten or forgetting people. The only reason why I don't want to do that was more out of the respect of people that have dementia or people that know people that have dementia or suffering from Alzheimer's and stuff like that. Because that usually when that phobia is exhibited or people are diagnosed with it are people that have early onset Alzheimer's or going through dementia. So it didn't really feel fair to be like, oh, people that are experiencing forgetting or being forgotten have this phobia. Yeah. No shit. I would too.
I wonder though if there's a version of that phobia that's not related to something as serious as that, but more of like a fear of never amounting to something. You know what I mean? Like,
so there's not.
I'll never be Instagram famous.
Yeah. There's a fear of failure, and there's also there's like this whole philosophical thing, like the Jonah complex, which means like the fear of actually achieving what you're supposed to be achieving, like meeting your destiny, meeting your fate, and stuff like that. Because then, what does that mean? It teeters on like xenophobia, which is the fear of the unknown, not fear of people. But it's the fear of the unknown. Once you get to your top, where do you go from there? You know what I mean? Because it's one thing to actually work towards something, and then it's like, okay, I did it. Now what? What do I do?
I was about to belt out into the unknown.
I knew you were.
But, it's interesting though, right? Is because like we have purchased a new home. We're working on a new
home.
And things that like people keep telling me, like homeowners keep telling me is like, yeah, you get a home, you buy a home, and then you work on the home. And then you work on it, you work on it. And then when you finally finish everything, you start to redo it again. And it's like almost like, is it this like weird human need to always have a purpose? And it's like, why can we never just be happy in the place that we're in? We have to keep changing it.
Well, I think people need to remember that we are animals as well. And just like most animals that create a nest or create like a mating ground, they're always changing it and they're always sprucing it up. So we don't necessarily, most people.
It's just innate in us.
Right. We like change. We like to spruce things up a bit. Maybe I will put more plants in. Maybe I won't put more plants. Man, I don't like that yellow anymore. It's just going to happen.
It just feels like you literally named two things that we did during the pandemic. And I feel like
I thought you wouldn't pick up on it.
That was the thing though, right? Is that everybody was stuck in the one same place and we can only do so much to change it. So people were bringing more plants in, painting walls, taking up new hobbies. It was just like
a lot.
Feeling trapped.
People decided to bake a lot. That's why the yeast was gone.
I literally just threw out the yeast that I bought because it went bad.
So you stopped some new hobby baker from baking.
I thought I was going to be a new hobby baker, but instead I played Animal Crossing.
What if they were the next Nadia?
I got it from Amazon.
Oh, okay. Never mind. That's fine.
I didn't like rip it out of someone's
that's
hands.
Fine.
All right. Enough of this. Let's get into an actual scary dimension.
Spoiler alert.
Not the real world. Spoiler alert. You have been alerted for spoilers.
Yeah, these episodes came out in the 60s, so spoil.
But they got twists because they got forgotten fates. Okay. Yeah. So let us officially take a bite of the Twilight Zone, the Hitch-Hiker, and the After Hours.
Ooh, a lot of the.
And I am up the first. So, my episode
we're not doing that. Use your words.
What hot words if not adding more?
No.
My episode is The Hitch-Hiker. This was season 1, episode 16. It debuted on January 22nd, 1960.
We both have season 1 episodes.
Indeed. Oh. Rod was like, and I have to say this. These are 2 of my all-time favorite episodes.
Fine.
So do them right.
No pressure.
Do them right. Okay. This was written by Rod Serling, and it was adapted on the teleplay that was written by Lucille Fletcher. And so this is the one and only Twilight Zone episode that was adapted from a teleplay.
What is a teleplay?
It's like a radio dramedy.
Oh, okay.
Not dramedy, but like a radio show.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like an audio drama.
Right.
For the now people.
And what's funny, though, is that he bought the rights to it. She had no idea what it was being made for. And the main character was actually a man. It was played by Orson Welles. And when
literally the person I was thinking of when you said man, I was like, Orson Welles, because teledrama.
Right, exactly. Any radio show is like Orson Welles. And she was not happy about the switch of the main character.
I mean, it's her story, but you sold the rights. So sorry, Fletcher.
Sorry. But she did think that Inger Stevens, who plays our main character, Nan Adams, did a wonderful job.
She did.
She was fantastic. So let me get into my Rod Serling voice.
My God.
Her name is Nan Adams. She's 27 years old. Her occupation, buyer at a New York department store. That's actually...
Buying what?
Well, no, you have like department stores are buyers.
You know what? I heard it, and then you said New York department store, and then I got it, but I said it anyway.
She picks the products at Macy's.
I got it now.
That is actually another connection between our two.
Shh, don't spoil it.
Department stores.
You already said it. Never mind.
Anyway. We already said spoiler. At present on vacation, driving cross country to Los Angeles, California from Manhattan. Minor incident on Highway 11 in Pennsylvania. Perhaps to be filed away under accidents you walk away from. But from this moment on, Nan Adams' companion on a trip to California will be terror. Her route, fear. Her destination, quite unknown.
Okay.
And this was
no Twilight Zone? He didn't say the word Twilight Zone?
This was really interesting. This one literally starts off with like the first two sentences of this intro. Then we have some action between Nan and the mechanic, and then it goes back into the rest of the monologue. Also, something that we're discovering is that in these earlier episodes, Rod Serling doesn't appear in them.
I could swore
it's just his voice.
But I feel like he might have been experimenting with a lot of stuff. It wasn't until the second season where the intro was the same every time. He came out, he said the thing, he also did the outro. Like he was in the scene of the episode. But it is interesting watching these season 1 things. Even the intro itself is changing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he could dabble.
Well, I think that they started it in one way, and then they were like, Rod, we love you. Get in there, bud.
Also,
smoke a cigarette, wear a suit.
Yeah, he had to do the whole advertising thing, so it made sense.
I wonder if he was wearing like specific suits made for episodes as part of the advertising.
Dear God, it's all black and white. Come on. I can't tell if it's blue or not.
Listen, they had to do it. Anyway, let's get to the episode. So when we first meet Nan, she's getting her tire fixed on the side of the road. The mechanic tells her by the looks of the skid marks and the speed she was going, she should have been dead. He puts a donut on the car and tells her to follow it. Foreshadowing? Maybe.
Yes. Oh, yeah, maybe.
So as she's getting ready to pull back onto the road to meet him at the gas station to get the actual new tire, there's a man in a fedora. Fedora. Oh, scary. Mm-hmm. So there's a man in a fedora in a shabby suit, which she mentions quite often, with his thumb sticking up. There is our first mention and sight of the hitchhiker. She drives past him. She gets there. He tells her that the total service for the tire replacement and all the labor is $29.70.
Stop. Don't even mention it. I'm pissed.
I got
Inflation?
four tires, $1,000.
Yeah. I mean... Duh.
Stop.
Yeah.
Insane. And then, of course, he makes the comment that $29.70 sure is cheaper than a funeral.
Yeah. I also, does she keep her money in a tackle box?
That's her little kit and caboodle. That's her little makeup.
Why was her money in it?
Because you keep your makeup in it, your travel, your toiletries.
But in a later scene, she has a purse.
I have 2 of them. It's for travel. They're cute.
What?
They have mirrors in them.
Wait, are you being serious? Like, this is a real thing?
Yeah, I have 2 of them. I bought them at a yard sale. I have a blue one and a beige one.
What?
Yeah, and it's kind of like when people would travel, you would unlock it. It had a mirror in it. It had little compartments for things. It looks like a tackle box, but you could like remember later on there was like caboodles like in the 90s?
No.
Yeah. So
I've heard the saying. I didn't know that was a thing.
Like the whole, like those were like, I don't know, like fancy colored, like fuchsia and purple and stuff like that. And it was meant for like a younger generation. But it's like your makeup case. It's like your travel case.
Well, okay. So I'm used to, my sister growing up had like a magenta and teal makeup box.
Yeah, it's a caboodle.
Right, but she didn't take it traveling.
Did it have a handle?
Yes, but that was what all her makeup was in to just normally do it. So I didn't.
But that was based on what was in the 60s.
Okay. Well,
it's just a little history lesson.
I thought it was funny, and now it just makes sense. So it's
sorry.
like, okay.
I'm sorry I got too real with you, but I'll show you my 2 later on.
I'm okay.
But as Noah mentioned, there's a mirror in the top of this case, and when she looks into it, who's behind her? But the
Rod
hitchhiker.
Serling. Oh.
Nope. Another man in a suit.
It looks very similar to him.
It's the hitchhiker. And so she's officially spooked. She's seen this guy twice. How did he get there so fast? Whatever. She's got to get on the road.
Before she leaves, she does mention to the mechanic, she was like, I was just looking at the hitchhiker, and he's like, what are you talking about? And she calls him, the hitchhiker, a shabby, skinny little scarecrow man.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a sick burn, and I'm going to use it in my normal vocabulary when I see a shabby, skinny little scarecrow man next time.
She just, throughout this episode, she completely roasts him. She's like,
I would too.
There he is in his shabby suit again, just staring at me. Now, as she pulls off the road, we get a jump scare within the first third of this episode.
Again, I felt like Rod really experimented with this season, which is fine. I love it because you never know what to expect. The fact that this actor / the hitchhiker came full on into the screen out of nowhere. And stares at you as the viewer. Yeah. I literally was like, I was watching it and typing notes, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I gasped out loud. And now the actor that plays the hitchhiker is named Leonard Strong. And I feel like Mr. Strong
did a strong performance.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. He's like, I know I'm unnerving, and I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
So in our next scene, this is another interesting thing, right? Like experimenting in this first season. It's a lot of her internal monologue.
I did like that. It reminds me a little bit of Eye of the Beholder, where it's like, yes, she's talking, but they recorded it.
Yeah.
So it's more clear. But since it's such a solitary episode with her in the car, I like that you got to hear her thoughts.
Yeah.
Because it couldn't be silent the entire time.
But it's interesting, though, right? Because I was thinking and comparing it to Time Enough at Last. Again, it's very solitary, after
he spoke it.
He said it out loud. Here we see her reacting to seeing him time and time again on the road, and it's just freaking her out. But we're not seeing her speak it. It's just in her mind, which is really interesting. So she's continually seeing him. She finally stops at a diner.
Could have used this episode for Triple D. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's right.
You had 2 chances to use it, but at least you used it one of the times.
Listen, we had a play to making our themed episodes have 2 at a time, and we got our favorite ones together. Yeah. So she stops at this diner, and she's like explaining to this guy. She's looking at a map. She's like, how does he keep getting ahead of me? And I mean, the guy at the diner is like the definition of 1960s mansplaining nonsense.
Oh my God.
He's like, well, I guess if he would have gotten and blah, blah, blah. He's just terrible.
I can tell you now that this episode, the men suck. In this episode.
Very true.
They really do. And I'm not just saying that just to say they actually do suck in this episode. Also, to be fair, why does this person that works in the service industry have to care about her being like, I just think something bad's happening. It's like, okay, lady, are you done? I have like 50 other people that I need to serve.
Finish your pie.
It is just a weird scene, but I think they just need to have more people in it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like a couple of things in here that feel a little bit filler, but we get there on the journey. Nan is back on the road again, and she gets stopped. There's some construction happening, so she's waiting there very patiently. But guess who appears but the hitchhiker, and this time in her back window?
I've never hitchhiked, but I think that's against the rules of hitchhiking, is to like actually, like if they're already stopped, like don't...
He's been looking for her.
They didn't stop for you.
Listen, he asks her a simple question, and that question is, heading west? So she panics.
Technically, yes, but she lies.
Indeed. I am actually. Yeah, hop on in,
She
sir.
said this funny thing, like when she was leaving the diner, like she got all hysterical for God knows what reason, probably just writing for the time. But she's like, I hate this car. And it's like, what? What? The car's fine.
Listen, we drove from New York to Texas once, and Tennessee is the longest state I've ever been in, and I have never wanted to not be in a car so much in my life. It was terrible.
But it's not the car that you should hate. It's the travel.
You told us there's claustrophobia. There's, it's a lot built into it. So he appears in frame again, another jump scare, super scary, giving me terror at 30,000 feet vibes, right? And she gets to a train crossing. And who's waiting for her across the tracks? Our hitchhiker.
This is probably one of the most famous scenes.
She tries to gun it, but her engine goes out on the tracks.
Guys.
Never gun it across the tracks. So a train comes barreling down upon her. She's panicked. Oh my God, she can't get the car started.
Okay,
it's about to get her.
Stop.
Oh.
Just get out of the car.
I mean, also that.
Why? I mean, take your little tackle box of all your knickknacks and baloodles, whatever it was, and get out of the car.
No, she's got to get that car. Cars are expensive. Cars are expensive. What's insurance like in the 60s? I don't know. So she finally...
Yeah, probably 50 cents. Who are you kidding? It was $30 for a tire change and labor. Whatever. It makes me mad.
I was furious about inflation.
Anything with cars, I hate. I just hate them.
She gets off the track. The car whizzes by her and literally makes this noise.
It is the worst train noise I've ever heard in anything ever.
But I did read that they did not have any stock footage of the train.
Oh.
So they were going to set up the cameras on the tracks
and wait.
And then a train actually passed and they saw how fast it went because they were just planning to like pull it off the tracks like just in time. So they ended up sending the camera up next to the tracks.
Okay.
Yeah. So she survives. She continues driving. There's and the hitchhiker is gone. So she
sounds so upset that she didn't survive.
Listen, she makes it off the track. The wizard train goes by. She's fine. So she keeps driving, and of course, she runs out of gas because she's just in hysteria now.
Wait, back up. Okay, her inner monologue was, oh, maybe I should get off of the freeway or highway, whatever they called, and take some side roads.
On the fourth day, she takes a side road trying to lose him.
What she doesn't understand is your gas does run out at some point.
Noah, there is a man that keeps appearing before her throughout the entire country. She has no time for logic.
Yeah, so you just want to go on a deserted road with a teleporting hitchhiker. Okay, that's fine. I'm just trying to figure out her train of thought.
Maybe he knows the route she plans, so she figures if she goes off the route, she'll lose it.
I'm sure that's
Listen,
what happens.
Nan is going through a lot.
Nan also makes some dumb choices, but none of these choices matter. What matters? Nothing.
She looks great, though, in her hat.
She's gorgeous. She's drop dead gorgeous.
Wink. Wink.
I have that in my notes to make sure to say it.
Asterisk, italicized.
Also,
bolded.
a fantastic movie.
Asterisk?
No, Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Oh, yes.
What?
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Anyway.
Calm down. Anyway, it's very late at night. She runs to a gas station. The guy's like, get out of here, lady. We're closed.
He doesn't help her.
No.
What?
He's like, come back in the morning at 9 a.m.
She tells you your only job, you literally have a house built on a gas station. A customer is coming to you. A woman, not saying that she's not capable to take care of herself, but clearly she's in a state of panic.
Yeah.
And your idea is go sleep in your car and come back to me whenever I decide to open.
Yeah. Slams the window in her face.
What?
That is not customer service.
It's not.
Okay, that is not going above and beyond.
No.
All right.
So
horrible
weird.
Yelp rating.
Men are the worst in this episode. Again.
Another man, our sailor friend, who just happened to be wandering down a random road going to San Diego from wherever the heck they are in like New Mexico?
Last time I checked, New Mexico is landlocked and there's no water to be found there. Weird thing number 5 at this point.
Yeah.
Why is he in his dress blues?
I don't know.
He's just hitchhiking in his Navy uniform?
We just need to know he's in the Navy.
Does he get hiked more frequently?
Or does he get hitched?
Probably both.
That's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
So he, I guess, in some manly way, gets the guy to give them gas.
Patriarchy.
Thank you. They get on the road. He wants to take his shoes off because his feet feel like bricks or whatever.
Get out.
Yeah. Disgusting. I don't know you like that.
Whenever I'm on road trips and I'm driving and I see the passenger in a car, I'm sorry if any of you do this. I love you. I don't hate you.
On the dash.
But I hate when I see, it's just like your feet smell. Everybody's feet smell. I don't care what you think. Everybody's feet smell, especially when you put them on hot glass driving. You've been in the car for like 12 hours. Just get them. What are you going to clean your feet print off of the glass?
No. Oh, heck no.
Probably not.
Heck no.
It's just...
Those are my toe prints for you.
I have a lot of pet peeves, and that's
Good
definitely...
Good for you for editing that. Good for you for editing that, because I was about to call you out.
Shut up. You agree with me on this one.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, but you're going to give yourself some liberties there, but it's fine.
Whatever. This guy gets grosser.
Yeah, he gets gross. He starts hitting on her. It's really disgusting.
He's staring at her the whole time.
Yeah, it's not okay.
I hate him.
But our girl, Nan, she is concerned because she sees the hitchhiker. So what does she try to do? She tries to run him over.
She also makes him do like land math. He's a sailor.
It's the most complicated math word problem you've ever heard in your life.
If I'm in a car going 45 miles an hour, which go faster, and I see a hitchhiker and I pass him, but then somebody in a truck picks him up that's going 65 miles an hour, would it be reasonable for them to make it to a destination before me? Technically, probably not, depending on how long it took for them to be picked up, because it doesn't matter how fast they're going. They're not going to catch up with you if you have time distance, but you're asking a sailor that's hitchhiking to do land math.
I love how you're mad about this problem, and yet you've solved it, and you're like, but still.
But it's so weird. I know this is her, but so this is this character.
It's mania. She's
manic. Trying to figure it out because she is seeing this guy constantly. She goes through a tunnel and then out of a tunnel, and then 2 seconds later, she sees the guy again trying to hitchhike.
Yep.
Only apparently she's seeing it. I get it, but it's just like...
So... She sees him on the side of the road. She tries to run him over. The sailor's like, what are you doing, lady? She goes into her math problem. She sees the hitchhiker again. She tries to run him over again. Finally, the sailor's like, I've had enough. You're 2 broomsticks short of a closet or something.
He does say something weird like that. It's not like you're the brightest light bulb in the box. It's like you don't have enough cleaning supplies in your closet, which makes you dumb.
So
that makes him leave?
He leaves. He's had enough. She cuckoo. He said, you cuckoo.
He made sure to take his shoes.
Of course. He needs his shoes.
She also tries to make him stay in any way possible.
She's desperate.
Like, she's like, no, there's a man following me. Doesn't buy it. She's like, oh, but I think you're super cute. Like, come in. I'll give you the smooshies. That doesn't work either. It's like, lady, nothing's working.
You've decided men are the worst. We know this. We learned it in this episode.
Right. It's like, oh, because she needs your help, now you don't want. Okay, that's fine.
So... When all hope is finally lost, she decides to call her mom.
I mean, that's sweet.
It's very sweet. She jumps on the phone, and a stranger answers.
Oh.
Mrs. Whitney.
Who?
Exactly. So Nan says, but wait, is my mother there? And Mrs. Whitney says that the mother had a nervous breakdown since the death of her daughter. It was all very sudden. Nan was killed in a car accident in Pennsylvania after her tire blew out.
So she died in the beginning.
She's been dead all along. And so the fear has left her now, and she knows exactly who the hitchhiker is. She sits back in her car, adjusts the mirror on her visor, and he sits there in the back seat and plainly states, I believe you're going my way.
Yeah. I mean, she is.
Now, wait, I do want to say this, though. The outro to this.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
It is so good.
And so sad.
It's probably one of the best outro or narrations that he's done.
Sterling says, Ned Adams, age 27. She was driving to California, to Los Angeles. She didn't make it. There was a detour through the Twilight Zone. She didn't make it.
So again, side question, it brings me to, is the Twilight Zone what she experiences after she's dead, right?
Yeah, this one I would say yes.
But then like some of them are like, they've always been in the Twilight Zone. We're just going to view it this time. But it's interesting.
Yeah, but this is also my question is like, okay, so if she was dead and she was in the Twilight Zone, who are all these other people that she keeps meeting?
All dead.
The sailor's dead.
All dead.
The gas station's dead.
Yeah, it just makes sense. They're dead.
The sailor makes the most sense that he's dead, that he's just wandering in the night. And they're just lost souls who don't realize they're dead.
And the gas station guy, the weirdest thing to me, and the Twilight Zone's really good with detail. They do things for a reason because they have to make all of this stuff. So it's like they make sure that people notice these things, especially for rewatches. when she leaves her car after she goes on the side roads, because it's a stupid freaking plan to do, she sees a sign. So she walks past the sign. She turns around to look at it, and it says gas, a quarter of a mile or whatever. And she keeps walking forward. She doesn't walk towards where the sign's pointing. Yeah. She walks the other way, and then there happened to be somebody in a gas station.
Yeah.
That's not how signs work. Just saying. Usually you see the sign, and then it tells you in so many feet, miles, or whatever, this is going to be there. Not, oh, by the way, behind you, half a mile, there was a gas station. So it's interesting. I feel like maybe that guy was just dead because also he sucked at giving gas. So
yeah, I think the sailor is definitely dead, though.
Sailor's definitely dead. The mechanic could have died from any mechanical accident. I mean,
and the hitchhiker is death himself.
I mean, in the beginning, it says something about fear takes form or something. Or did she say that? Like terror has a form.
Yeah, she says that. I think is he like sort of like
maybe he's the phobia of death,
or he's just like the angel of death. He brings you to where you're going.
And a fedora, that's a demon to me. Fedoras are never okay.
Maybe she's going to hell. I don't know, Nan.
That's what she gets for some reason driving from New York to California. Yeah.
She's just going on vacation.
That's like it's like a 5-day trip. Oh, no.
She was going on vacation. She was going to explore the country, and unfortunately, her tire blew out, and she never got to go on her trip.
It is sad. It's very bittersweet. But Nan is Nan Moore. She's dead.
That was just rude. That was just rude. How dare you? Did you guys notice in this episode, I kept trying to bring it back to like a serious point of like feeling bad for her, and Noah just kept railing on poor Nan?
I do.
You know, I said empathy is not my strong suit.
Let me clear the air. I love this character. I think she reacted reasonably to all of the situations. She tried. What I did like about this episode is she tries to figure out different situations to get her out of the situation she's not comfortable with. Mm-hmm. She stops and gets food and then asks a local. She tries to get some random person to help her. She goes a different way. She tries all the different things.
All the things you admonished her for earlier.
I agree with them. It's just sometimes it's not the right thing to do.
You know,
whatever.
There's something about this episode. I just love how, again, it's the way it's paced. It's the way he appears. And
well, you think there's something wrong with him.
Right. And there's not. And the thing is that he's just a guy.
All he asked was, you going my way.
He doesn't have horns. He's not like trying to spook her. He just is a man in a suit with his thumb up. And it just is so frightening.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, he just keeps appearing. That's the thing. It's building that mystery. The Twilight Zone, they love to bait and switch you.
And you know what, though? That's the thing, though, talking about a bait and switch, right? Is like we see him as threatening, but really, he's just trying to help her.
We don't know that, though.
No, he's getting her to her destination.
Yeah. What if it's the wrong one?
That's all he's doing.
What if it's I don't know. I hope she's okay. Nan.
Yeah, she's fine. She's dead. She says it. She says it at the end. She says,
she accepted it.
The fear has left me now, and I know exactly who he is.
Yeah.
She gets it.
Maybe we should have titled this episode Fate's Accepted.
Fate's Accepted. I mean, true, but that is not so mysterious.
Yeah.
So that is it for The Hitchhiker.
Great episode. It is, I think we've covered, again, Derek has been doing like the episodes that like the Twilight Zone is known for. This episode, we're both doing episodes that like the Twilight Zone is like known for. But I love hearing you talk about these episodes that like you always think about with the Twilight Zone. That's what's fun about doing this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said in our first episode, the Twilight Zone has been in my life my whole life. And
How do you know you're not in the Twilight Zone?
I think about that every day of my life. I very well might be in the Twilight Zone.
Is this the end narration time
every
now?
Once in a while, I smell cigarette smoke and I think, yep, I knew it.
He's coming for me.
I knew it.
But cigarette smoke and gel.
He looks great though. Sharp dresser. He has nice watches too.
Shiny hair.
Shiny. All right, I'm passing the forgotten fate baton to you.
Thank you for that forgotten baton, batonathon.
Fun.
So as Derek said in the beginning of the episode, I am covering the After Hours, not to be confused with After Hours. Two different ones. Two completely different stories.
You know, I never knew why they called this one the After Hours.
In retail, it is a thing.
Is it?
It's like the after hours of the store because there's so much. Because that's another thing for people that have never worked in retail. You need to understand that people that are closing are going to be there for an hour to 2 hours to 3 hours after the store closes.
Ugh.
There's after hours out.
When I worked at Cold Stone, we got to clean, we got to count. Oh,
yeah,
that was terrible.
Yeah. Awful. So my episode, season 1, episode 34. Yes, there was more than 34 episodes in the first season of The Twilight Zone. The original air date was June 10th, 1960. Most of my episodes have been the 60s. Whatever. Or 1960 and 1961.
They were all in the 60s except for 59. But
this episode was written by Rod Serling and directed by Douglas Hayes. The open
Dougie Hayes
narration. Yeah, him. We know him. Miss Marcia White on the 9th floor, specialties department, looking for a gold thimble. The odds are she'll find it. But there are even better odds that she'll find something else. Because this isn't just a department store. This happens to be the Twilight Zone. The After Hours, I feel like personally, is one of the best in the entire series. I love it so much. It's creepy, well acted, and has an unforgettable twist. It's everything the Twilight Zone has to offer in one little tiny 20-minute episode.
I have one thing to say about this, and it is, Marcia.
Stop.
Marcia.
I can't. Literally, after we watched it for like the 5th time this year, because we watched it for New Year's, I feel like I'm hearing that in places, and I don't like it.
So
the new house that we have, I was there by myself doing things last night because Derek had to come to the place with internet and do stuff, whatever. I had to go down into the basement. One of the lights needs to be replaced. It's flickering. And I'm like, I swear to God, if I see a mannequin down here, I'm going to leave. I can't come back. Yeah.
Marcia.
Anyway.
So good.
Marcia White, played by Anne Francis. I was going to say Ferris.
Anna Faris?
Yeah, Anna Faris. Not the same people.
Not the same.
Enters, also decades apart. Enters a department store and waits in line for an elevator before one to the side opens up for her. Convenient. She enters alone and tells the elevator attendant what she is looking for. He takes her to the 9th floor. The camera reveals there is no 9th floor.
Can I just say that she looks exactly like the original Barbie? She's eye makeup, the stature, the hair.
Both leads in both of these episodes, beautiful. Unfortunately, mine is in a later episode that we have mentioned before, Jezebel. That I hate.
She's not blonde in that one. They made her a brunette.
Right. Either way, I hate that.
Fair. I'm just saying they changed her look up.
But she's gorgeous no matter what. Also, she's a fantastic actor.
Yes.
Regardless. This start to the episode is perfect. I love it because there's very little has happened, and yet it still manages to be like mysterious, unsettling. Why is there no 9th floor, but this person's taking her to a floor that doesn't exist? At this 9th floor that does not exist, Marcia gets off and sees the floor is completely empty. This is exactly what I want to see in a department store where I'm looking for something. Thinking there is some sort of mistake, she turns to re-enter the elevator like a normal person would, and the door snaps shut. Elevator attendant was like, bye.
He says, bye, bitch. Gotta go. Slam this door. See you never.
Left with no other options because there's no other way out, she wanders about the empty floor and is met by a peculiar saleswoman who she dresses like Miranda Priestley. That's all I can say. She's just
collar,
head to toe, perfect.
She's snatched. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Who knows her by her name? Interesting. How does this person that works on a 9th floor where there's nothing else there know her name? She shows her the only product on this floor, which is indeed the 14-karat gold thimble that she's looking for. So she buys it because that's all she's looking for.
She flicks on that light in that case and bam.
The funniest thing about this episode, which I know is intentionally supposed to be funny, but it's so subtle, is the actor that plays the saleswoman, Elizabeth Allen is her name. She's at another like set of counters. So think of like Macy's where all the makeup is. You know, they're behind that like barricade of glass stuff. So she goes to her and she's talking to her there. And she's like, oh, what are you looking for? She tells her what she's like looking for. And she's like, let me show you. And she looks around all of the empty cases like, oh, no, not that. There's nothing in there.
She's acting. It's called acting.
She goes straight to the one with the only thing in it and turns on the light. And she's like, would this work? It's like, yeah, that has to be it.
Marcia, is this what you were looking for, babe?
Also, so people got fancy thimbles?
Yeah, this is something I know nothing about. Apparently, that's what you gave your mom.
Do we have any seamsters, stresses, seamsers? Is that the
well? Let's just say
neutral?
people who sew.
Oh, okay. I was trying to find a gender new tailors. No.
Well, tailors is usually men, seamstresses is usually women. So let's just say people who sew.
But anyway, yeah. So is it like? I guess you don't need thimbles nowadays. Gold, 24 karat gold ones.
No, you always need a thimble, but I feel like the gift giving of a thimble is something that is
weird.
Something anymore.
It's weird. Maybe it was like her mother likes them and it's like a generational gap thing. And it's like,
yeah. And if you buy someone a 14 karat thimble, are they using it to sew or is it only for show?
It's a Monopoly piece.
Well, but that's, I thought about that, right? Is like people fight over being the thimble, but like, why was the thimble a piece to begin with?
I always wanted to be the car.
The dog. I wanted to be the dog.
Thimble?
The dog. My brother always fought for the thimble. I always wanted to be the dog.
I'd be like, you can have it.
Who wants to be the hat?
The hat was cool. We lost it, so I always forget the hat existed.
R.I.P. hat.
Yeah. Anyway, also, this 24 karat, or 24, I'm giving it more credit.
1,000,000 karat gold thimble.
14 karat gold thimble is only $22, which is almost the cost of Nan's tire change with labor included. So I'm not understanding how money works at all in the 60s.
Listen, high scale thimbles, baby. Worth every penny.
Okay.
Baby.
The saleswoman at this point curiously asks her the question, are you happy?
Ooh, loaded.
One, none of your business.
Loaded question.
If anybody I did not know, a stranger at this point, asked me that, I'd be like, and since you asked me that question, no, I'm not happy.
I would not know how to answer that, and I would have an existential crisis.
You would explode. I feel like that would be your moment to just be like, yeah!
I'd be like, am I happy? I don't know.
Yeah, you would die.
I would lose my mind.
You would be done.
That's too load of a question.
Cease to exist.
3 words would ruin my life. So, are you happy?
Marcia gets back on the elevator with the same attendant and realizes that there's a scratch on this 14 karat gold thimble. She goes full on Karen on this dude.
Yeah.
It's scratched. How dare. Something a needle is going to be poking at.
Meanwhile, this guy's the elevator attendant. What does he have to do with the thimble? Calm down, lady.
Hence why she went full Karen. Because she's complaining to the wrong people. But also, a thimble is supposed to protect your thumb whenever you're sewing.
This is what makes me feel like it's a collector's item, not necessarily for sewing.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Like, I feel like when you go to like places for like souvenirs, sometimes there are thimbles.
Never.
Yeah.
Have I ever seen that?
I've seen it. Hey guys, comment below.
Did you go back into time?
I went to Holland.
Oh, well,
there were thimbles with what are those called? I'm doing this with my finger spinning. Right? Hard.
Aurora from
like Don Quixote. What is that?
I was thinking Sleeping Beauty, but
no, not a spinning wheel. What's the big thing in Holland? The
windmills?
Windmills.
Oh my God, we were thinking about 2 completely different things.
I guess me spinning my finger in a circle could represent a lot.
We're talking about sewing.
I said Holland, though. I said Holland. What are those things? Those big things in Holland?
Mini golf is what you should have said.
Exactly.
So anyway, she wants to go complain. So he takes her to the Karen department, a.k.a. the 3rd floor, which is complaints. We then cut to a nervous sales supervisor. I'm not kidding, guys. Mr. Armbruster. The name is ridiculous.
I love/hate this guy.
He explains to the manager, Mr. Sloan, the oddities of the situation.
Well, yes, that's what I told her.
Right. The way this dude speaks and the way he laughs reminds me of back in our other episode, the Odyssey of Flight 33, with that woman, that smack like that. He has such a weird way of speaking, and he...
I mean, but you have to give it to these actors, right? They're like, I am in a 22-minute TV show. I have, like a handful of lines. I have to make the most of it.
No.
He's like,
no, because right. But what are you going to be cast as?
Only Mr. Armbruster.
Right. That's but like
they're character actors. I mean, but that's the point, though. I think he's supposed to get on your nerves.
He does. Yeah.
Done. End.
So, since there is no 9th floor, Mrs. White continues to be certain that she did go to the 9th floor. When trying to explain the situation to the sales supervisor and the store manager, Marcia then sees the back of the saleswoman from the 9th floor.
There she is.
However, someone picks her up and moves her, revealing her to be a mannequin and the likeliness of the saleswoman wearing the same exact outfit. So, mystery starts thickening. Plot is turning. I feel like I should have swapped those.
Yeah, maybe mystery.
But I like what I said. I don't care. I like what I said.
Good for you. Stick to your guns. I think, though, in this scene, one of the things we need to focus on is the close-up of Marcia's face.
She is so dramatic.
Oh, the fingers are curled around the mouth.
I'll post it. It's probably going to be the picture that's posted of this episode of her.
Oh, and of course, they do that like,
oh my God, the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. I have to just
lady
lightly touch my face. Yeah, it's like a thing of the times that actors did.
Yeah.
This is where, at this point in the episode when I was watching, literally I wrote in my notes, isn't mannequin a weird word?
Yes.
So what I decided to do was to look up the history of the word mannequin.
Oh my God.
I'm weird like that.
Teach us.
The more you know, I guess. Let's go to 1920 and let's go further in the past.
Okay.
Model to display clothes.
Yeah.
From the French.
Bonjour.
Mannequin. Spelled exactly the same.
Mannequin.
From Dutch. Mannequin.
Netherlands again.
Spelled Manneken. Model of a human figure used by artists. Literally, little man.
Ooh.
Interesting. A French form of the same word that yielded mannequin and sometimes mannequin, how we spell it, was used in English in the sense of artificial man. Originally of persons in a sense where we might use model. So, back in this time, it wasn't actually a artificial person per se. It was what people we thought were models.
Oh, cool.
Were taking pictures. They were mannequins. Later in the 1931, that's when it started being artificial human. What?
In the 1931.
In the 1931. It's a weird concept because how do you fathom that? Do you know anybody from that time? No.
Oh. Fine.
Anyway, later in 1931, the word mannequin was used as an artificial person displaying clothes.
Cool.
So it went from model. So we kind of swapped the words.
Yeah.
Because you would think a model is something that you built and it's like a model of something. And it got swapped.
I mean, why manne-can't when you manne-can?
Stop. I love it. One last thing on this because why not? There was a newspaper called The Bystander. It was a British newspaper, and this is from 1906. So remember, 1903 is when the word started floating around.
And in the 31.
Shut up. This was from The Bystander in 1906. A mannequin is a good-looking, admirably formed young woman whose mission is to dress herself in her employer's latest creations, in quotes, and to impart to them the grace which only perfect forms can give. Her grammar may be bad, her temper worse, but she must have the chic, the Parisian poses, no matter whether she hails from the aristocratic Faubourg Saint-Germain or from the Faubourg Montreal.
I didn't like any of that.
It's so weird.
It was so offensive.
It is. Because, but this is, so at this time, men were writing about this. So what men thought models should be, they can't be smart. She may not be smart, but she's dang good to look at.
Look,
and she has to wear her employer's clothes.
Forgotten Fates, men are the worst.
Yeah.
That is the subtitle of this episode.
Side note. Yeah. So the more you know,
He said, I got a new segment, y'all. It's called The More You Know.
I had to because I usually with these types of things that we do, I'm like, oh, where did that word come from? And usually they're not good, but I felt like this was too good to not share.
I appreciate it.
So that's where
I feel like from now on, all the special segments should just be called The More You Know It, and you do them.
No, thank you. Too much pressure. I don't want to do that also.
Oh, great. Cool.
So back to the 60s.
Oh, that's right, Marcia.
So after she saw the saleswoman be picked up in mannequin form, we then moved to closing time, where we learned that Marcia had fallen asleep sometime after her shock. It was so shocking that they just put her on a couch to go to sleep.
Yeah, she's just a a lady, and she can't handle it. We got to lay her down.
Well, that's not their fault. She literally did do that.
Well, I mean, she saw the woman that she saw, and she was doing the thing, and she was a mannequin.
Yeah,
scary.
I mean, shocked.
Yeah,
shocked.
Shooketh.
However, no one gets the chance to wake her, and she eventually wakes up on her own in the empty department store because everybody forgets about Marcia, the hysterical woman that apparently is just sleeping in the middle of the sales floor, that nobody decided to wake up. Maybe she was too mannequin-like.
Well, maybe if Mr. Armbruster wasn't so annoying and mean to the women that worked there, they would remember that Marcia was sleeping on the couch.
Her clothes did kind of blend in with the couch. I will give him that. I'm just saying.
Camouflage.
Yeah, she camouflaged real nice into that couch. So she's in the department store after hours.
There you go. Name drop.
She wanders around, and when she finds she can't get out, she begins to freak out a bit.
I would.
And by freaking out, I mean Marcia dramatically runs around in the same 20-foot area looking for a way out. She goes to this corner, and then to that corner, and then falls over a partition. I don't know. It's very dramatic. This gets more dramatic when she finds herself in a room filled with mannequins, and she sees one move, which would terrify me. Another one in the likeliness of the elevator attendant from earlier. She knocks him over.
Yeah.
She hears her name called from multiple Marcia Quins.
Marcia.
Mannequins.
You didn't do that on purpose?
I said Marcia Quinn.
You didn't do that on purpose?
No, but both start with M in my brain.
Man, that's weird.
So the mannequins, still stationary, start to become accusatory towards her. They tell her to remember who she is.
Get off it.
To climb off it.
Climb off it. That's my favorite.
How dare you? Come on, dear. Remember who you are. This woman dials the rotary phone with so much aggressiveness and so much dramaticism. It's amazing.
Whoa.
She puts her finger in that slot and she zzz, so dramatically.
Just for show, though, unfortunately.
Also takes her 10 seconds to dial 3 numbers.
Well, rotary phones. Especially if there's a 0, you got to wait for it to go all the way around.
Crying and backing up and unwillingly into the open elevator, which then heads up to the 9th floor. The door opens to the mannequin of the saleswoman, who then starts to talk to her. I love this scene because it is an actual mannequin of the saleswoman. It shoots, the camera switches to Marcia in the elevator on the floor, and then the actor obviously steps in, but it's such a fluid shot that it's like, okay, mannequins do come to life after hours. I don't like this.
And then, not to go forward, but as they're walking out, I love seeing the mannequins come to life around them.
Yeah. That scene is so damn cool. She steps out of the elevator, and obviously Marcia is kind of like ushering her that way. And you see all the mannequins around, which, okay, I will just say, on the 9th floor, there was no mannequins around. It was just shelves, but whatever. It changes, I guess. It's just the room of requirements, as you will. It just is what you need it to be because it doesn't exist, apparently.
Well, I think that mannequins are very fast, apparently, because they could travel floors in the blink of an eye. She knocked the guy over on the floor below. She goes up in the elevator. He's up there already.
Well, he opened the elevator. No, he didn't.
No, he wasn't in it.
Who opened the elevator?
Hello?
Because they need an elevator attendant to open. This whole place is haunted. I don't like it.
It's mannequins.
Of these mannequins, they get off their pedestals. There is a tennis Tina, a boating Bob, and people in the most horrifying winter gear I have ever seen in my entire life.
The ski masks.
I don't know who on earth would buy those. I wouldn't even buy them, and I like some weird things.
They were very scary. I did not appreciate them.
They're not great, and they're not flattering as well.
No, they've got diamonds on their faces, not in great places. They look like they'd kill you.
Yeah, awful. Have you seen Funny Games? It just reminds, it's like if you can embody the twins from Funny Games into a mask, that's what that is.
Blech.
If you get that reference, I'm sorry.
Not okay.
The saleswoman tries to get her to remember that Marcia is herself a mannequin.
Doll.
And that they all get a month to live in the real world as a person. And in this whole time, Marcia just forgot that she was a mannequin. You just forget. I need to know how on earth, one, she forgot. I know she says like, oh, when you're out there, everything seems real and you forget. I get that wanting to be like in the real world. I want to be a part of your world. That's not how the Little Mermaid song is.
What? That sounded like
you get it.
Like an 80s synth jam. It was so weird.
But I need to know. That's not the point. Forget that. Erase,
how
delete.
will I know?
Yeah. That's probably what I was doing. I want to know how they survive a month outside with no job.
Oh.
And no shelter.
Oh, I have a list of questions. Is there a mannequin apartment that they all go to? Why does she think she has a mom? Like, so is there a failsafe built into their heads that when they get too involved in the real world, they think they have to buy a thimble, and then they're led to the 9th floor where the only thing there is a thimble?
I'm thinking the reason why people didn't wake her up to leave is because she turned into a mannequin.
So you're of a theory of when they sleep, they're mannequins again.
Right. It's like Toy Story, but except like they can't will themselves to be floppy toys. They just like when they go to sleep, they're just like, and they freeze. They become rigid and just like.
I'm with you.
Because what do they just naturally like, is it like an instinct to their head? Like, I need to find other wooden people and then just go to sleep.
I don't know.
What was she doing before this day?
She was living the life. I think that they go through the registers, they take money, and they go live in the world. It's a part of being a mannequin. They probably do take money. Yeah, I mean, they need it to survive. I don't know where she sleeps, but I guess if they turn into mannequins, she just goes into like an alley somewhere and turns into a mannequin for the night.
Well, she, at this point, takes her place back where she belongs, next to the elevator attendant. The head of the mannequin, because at this point we see Anna / Marcia as a mannequin. I do like that they actually did a cast of the person's face, which it's like the technology back then. It's not like a great cast. It looks like just like a shape and then her face painted on it.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is William J. Tuttle, which at the time was a noted makeup artist, he did display the mannequin head of Anna in the 1968 MGM short film, The King of Duplicitors.
Oh, fun.
So it was used elsewhere. Her head was taken. Yeah. So the mannequin made its way around. The next day, that was just a tiny little tangent. The next day, Mr. Armbruster is walking about the department store as he opens and spots the Marcia mannequin, double takes, and then walks on by. The ending narration. Marcia White in her normal and natural state, a wooden lady with a painted face who, 1 month out of the year, takes on the characteristics of someone as natural, and as fresh flesh. Guys, I'm almost done. I'm sorry. As normal apart. And as fresh, and as flesh and blood as you and I. Damn it. But it makes you wonder, does it? Just how normal are we? Are we all mannequins? Is that what he's saying?
I mean, when I go to sleep, I don't know what happens to my body.
Just who are the people we nod our hellos to as we pass on the street? Rather good question to ask, particularly in the Twilight Zone. I don't want to think about it, Rod. Thank you.
You know, one of the things, not to bring it down, but I love her last line. You know, after she realizes everything and she knows she has to stay in the store again, she just thinks to herself, almost under her breath, she says, "It was ever so much fun."
This whole thing is so bittersweet.
Oh,
it's so bittersweet. It's one of those things where it's like the ending isn't necessarily bad, but you kind of just feel empathy for this character. And it's like, it is kind of sad to think that this entity thought that they were a real person or real woman.
You know what? You have to think, did she meet people out there? Did she
probably.
befriend people?
She had a mom.
She'll just disappear.
She had a mom.
What happened to her?
Older lady was like, yeah, you're my daughter.
She's
Buy
like,
me a gold thimble.
Thimble, you bitch.
Oh my God, we figured it all out. It was all a con the whole time.
Maybe there's a mannequin mother that lives in this apartment that they all just go to.
Yeah. Maybe. Oh, God, stop it. It's getting creepier. But this whole episode as a whole, I think, is really good. There's one thing that I particularly like that this episode does. There's not much music that plays until you find out what happened. So the entire time that she's freaking out, she's going through the store, she's figuring out things, she's meeting weird people. There's no music. It all builds to the mystery, builds to the tension of the thing. And then when she does find out that she's a mannequin, the music isn't necessarily like horror-like.
Yeah.
And it's not really happy. That's kind of why I said the bittersweet thing, because it's like, oh.
Yeah, she remembers. Man. She remembers. And one of the things that I loved that obviously was a choice that was made was she tends to fall back into her mannequin pose every so often.
Oh, yeah. Even when she's walking, it shows a scene of her legs when she's walking, which I thought was weird. But then I noticed it's like she's not really bending her knees.
Yeah.
And it feels like she's like there's something under her feet, which would stick her into the podium. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting.
Do you think that they picked their names? She decided to be Marcia White.
No. They're all named Marcia. All the women models are Marcia, and all the male names are John.
No. She's like, I want to be Marcia.
Because she's the only mannequin that has a name.
Yeah.
So, Marcia.
So good, Marcia. Let's get into our special segment. It was Earth all along.
It was mannequins all along.
Mannequins.
Marcia Quins.
Oh. Well, that was a good choice of name for a mannequin. I get it. In Chihuahua, Mexico, there is a dress shop that has become a tourist attraction due to the woman in the front window. Okay. Actually, the mannequin in the window. Or wait, is it a woman?
Stop. If it's a dead body, I swear to God.
The legend of La Pascualita began in March of 1930 when the shop owner's daughter died the day before her wedding.
Stop.
While the cause of her death is still debated, some say it was a black widow bite, the larger question people ask is, what happened to the body after she died? See, the mannequin appeared in the shop's window right after the death of the shop owner's daughter. The bridal mannequin looks incredibly lifelike and just like the daughter who died.
He killed her.
Many speculated, Black Widow bite, it was your dad.
Yeah.
Many speculated that the shop owner was so distraught that he embalmed his daughter and placed her center stage. Beyond this, once he passed away, it was said that the mannequin/body was haunted. It would change positions, and others had seen it cry, smile, or even sweat. While the questions surrounding La Pascualita may never be answered, be sure to swing by the corner of Ocampo and Victoria Streets because it was Earth all along.
I don't like any of what you just said. He clearly, I will say grief does terrible things to people. Not terrible things. It makes you do things that you normally would not do. It's very plain and simple. But the fact you can't just embalm somebody and then like display them in a window. Have you ever seen display windows where people leave things in there? You know how like sun bleach those things get?
Yeah.
They say she's crying. No, I'm saying that's fluid coming out of her, or the embalming fluid.
It's interesting because they did do studies and they're like, no, it's just wax, blah, blah, blah. But then like the kind of legend went on to say that it was a haunted mannequin. But when you see the way the hands are painted.
Stop it.
It looks like real hands.
There's pictures?
Yes.
Oh,
it's still there. It's still there. It's very, very creepy.
I don't like it.
Whether or not it's haunted, whether or not it's a body, it's still a creepy
It's definitely mannequin. A body and it needs to be taken down. And buried.
Well, now it's a tourist attraction, so people are swinging by that store all the time. They ain't going to take it down.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Is it like one of those situations where it's like, you know, your parents got you a new dog that after your dog actually died and they just kept replacing it and it was like the original figure's just already gone at this point and that's why people are like, it's changed positions.
Yeah,
that's because it's not made out of a human anymore. It's an actual mannequin.
That's very possible. They're just keeping the hijinks going. They just keep replacing it.
Oh, I don't like that though. I'm going to look at pictures.
Yeah, take a look at La Pascualita.
You need to send me these pictures as you're talking about it so that way I can react to it.
Okay. I never want to like spoil it early though, but we'll have to do it exactly as I say it.
Airdrop it to me.
Okay. I'll send it to the airdrop, the magic of the iPhones.
Oh my God. Well, okay. I hope you enjoyed this venture into the Twilight Zone with us this week.
And hopefully you have not forgotten your fate.
I'm distraught. I need to look at this mannequin.
Yeah, go check out. Just Google La Pascualita.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to A Bite Of. Artwork and editing by our own Noah. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at A Bite Of Pod and on Facebook at A Bite Of.
If you have questions, recommendations, or just want to say hi, you can email us at abiteofpod@gmail.com. You can find us on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate and review to spread the word. Hope you join us next time on A Bite Of. Bye!